And she held it together for as long as she could. No, you won't.
Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you could, please leave the video a like before exiting and please consider subbing. Today we'll be watching Game of Thrones. Welcome back everyone, we're getting into the last two episodes of the first season. Can't believe we're here, it took me forever to get here, but we are here. And we left off with, let's see, Sansa, little dove, poor little dove. She thinks that, in fact, no, everyone thinks Joffrey is telling the truth. No one's looking for Ned to lose his head. I mean, except maybe Littlefinger. Maybe Littlefinger's the one. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Littlefinger was one like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool as your first act, like your true act of king, is to take the head of the Warden of the North? I mean, those Starks didn't respect you while you were there. Robb Stark tried to fight you. He yelled at you. I mean, in the books or whatever. But, I mean, I just feel like Littlefinger's the only one who would be okay with Ned dying. So I wonder if that little link up happened there. But for the most part, everyone thinks Joffrey is going down the path of Ned will confess that Joffrey's the true king. He'll, you know, suffer his punishment, head up to the wall where he could have been with Jon. He could have been with Jon. Oh, what could have been? Yeah, but Joffrey's a POS, so you know. And then we have Dany, who foolishly thinks that okay, listen, in the books it makes perfect sense that Dany would call for Miri's help because Drogo is missing a peck, like the skin, like the entire, he's missing an entire peck. A pectoral is like, it's like coming off, like it's far worse than just this little like scratch. But you know what, it has to be. Now this is a little conflict that I'm excited to get into because I always feel like this is like not the pinnacle of George's writing, but the heartbeat of it in terms of the prophecy. I'll get into it when the episodes are done. But I feel like this is it's not the pinnacle of George's writing, but the Mirri Maz Dor, Dany, Khal Drogo, the baby, all of that mixed up is just it's a defining feature of George's work. The conflict, being able to see both sides, Mirri being justified in wanting Drogo gone, Dany believing the better of someone but then getting slighted, Mirri taking things too far and harming Dany's child. Just, it's a whole thing, and it all kind of hinges on prophecy. It's like a mixture of real world in terms of you need money for a war. To fund a war, you gotta get money, and this is the way the Dothraki do it. They take women as slaves and they force themselves on women as just part of what they do, unfortunately. And Mirri is a victim of that. Dany does try to stop it and put an end to it, and she unwittingly is her desire to go to Westeros. Well, I wouldn't even say it's her desire. It's Robert Baratheon that really starts it, because Drogo wasn't even for it. Like, he had no interest in going to Westeros. He's like, girl, we staying right here. We ain't crossing the street. But the second Robert had Dany targeted, that's what spurred Drogo on. So I wouldn't even say it's Dany's fault that they're going to Westeros and all of this is happening. I think it can track, but yet does she play a role in putting the seed of wanting to go back home? I feel like Dany at this point just wants to go home, and she's trying to appeal to Drogo, which is something she has done the entirety of her marriage. She's always tried to find ways to appeal to Drogo to make her marriage less hurtful, painful. We saw that with the whole teaching her how to seduce the call. So I feel, and her learning the language and things like that, it's just trying to fit in and make things workable. And so I feel like she says the whole, you know, a throne for a call to sit on. Like, she's trying to appeal to him. Like, wouldn't you want a throne? But I think for Dany, she just wants to go home, or wants a home. And the Dothraki are pretty nomadic with their traveling, so that even just enforces her always being moved one place to another. It's never one stable area. Anyways, that's not all that happens. Robb calls the banners and he's going off to war. Robb Stark is one of my favorite characters, book and show. So I really can't wait to get into those seasons that we have with him and see his rise, and just, oh, what could have been if Jon hadn't taken his Night's Watch oath yet and been able to be by his side. Just a whole bunch of what ifs. But alas, we would not have a Song of Ice and Fire if those what ifs came true. Anyways, let's get into this. Grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever it is you like to do when you watch your favorite reactions. Just get comfortable and let's get to.
You've seen better days, my lord.
Anybody
Another
would,
visit.
living in the Black Cells. Well, not living, but staying there.
Seems you're my last friend.
Sansa came to court this morning. Plead for your life.
Did you know that your son is marching south with an army of Northmen?
Rob. He's just a boy.
Cersei's no fool. She knows a tame wolf is more use to her than a dead one.
The woman who murdered my king, who butchered my men, who crippled my son.
I want you to serve the realm.
This is killing Ned.
I think my life is some precious thing to me. That I would trade my honor for a few more years of war. You grew up with actors, but I grew up with soldiers. I learned how to die a long time ago.
His best line.
How long before they take his head?
Not
We need
long.
to cross the Trident, and we need to do it now.
Just march up to his gates and tell him you're crossing.
I'll go.
Mother,
I have known Lord Walder since I was a girl. He would never harm me.
Oh, God, no.
Unless there was a prophet in it.
Uh-huh.
I thought a wolf was more appropriate for you than
Oh, Jor.
a bear. So I had a new pommel made, called Longclaw. Mormons have carried it for 5 centuries.
And now it's yours.
My lord, you honor me, but I can't.
Oh, you can. And you will. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you and your beast. I don't think this means I approve of this nonsense with you and Alistair Thorne.
Oh, yeah, you did try to murk
It's a
him.
man's sword.
Yes, my lord.
Ah, John and Longclaw, your adventure shall begin.
Sam said you wanted to see me.
I did indeed. Did you ever wonder why the men of the Night's Watch take no wives and father no children, so they will not love? Love is the death of duty. The day should ever come when your Lord Father was forced to choose honor on the one hand and those he loves on the other. What would he do?
You do whatever was right.
And you are the product of that.
Sooner or later,
There comes a day.
every man's life, there comes a day when it is not easy.
And this is my day.
One of many days to come for you, John. Phew.
The gods were cruel when they saw fit to test my vows. The ruin of my house, the death of my family. I was helpless, blind, frail.
What a reveal that he's a prince. A Targaryen prince at that.
My brother Egon reigned after him, and he was followed by his son Aerys, whom they called the Mad King.
Aemon Targaryen.
I'm a maester of the Citadel,
What a good answer.
bound in service to castle.
Oh, the writing.
Drogo.
Shikal drogo ache acha.
Girl, he's halfway. He's knocking on death's door. Oh my goodness. Oh, Drogo. It's probably a blood infection that got to him. Infection spread, most likely.
He's beyond the healer's skills.
All I can do is ease his path.
You must know a way. Some magic.
Some would say death is cleaner.
Do it.
Oh God, I think this is a combination of desperation, fear, and hormones, considering the fact that she's pregnant.
Try to penetrate the enigma. That is me.
Who were you in love with?
That's not how the game works.
Our lord here used to be married.
Married?
How did you hear that?
No, you hear lots of...
Oh, the Taisha story. I kind of wish they kept that between Jamie and them, but I feel like it would have been too much of a hill to climb in the show, and the constraints that they had.
Brother Jamie and I were riding when we heard a scream. She ran out onto the road, clothes half torn off, with 2 men on her heel. While Jamie hunted down the rapers, I took her to...
I did think this was all true. It wasn't a lie. Oh.
And somehow I found myself in her bed.
For 3 chickens, I should hope so.
And by morning, I was deep enough in love to ask for her hand. First, my father had Jamie tell me the truth. The girl was a whore, you see. My father brought in my wife and gave her to his guards. He brought me into the barracks and made me watch.
Tywin was awful for this. The fact that Taisha really just was an innocent girl running away. Oh.
I would have killed the man who did that to me.
You should have known she was a whore.
There was no need to do that to Tyrion, to like change the story and make it seem like she was a whore. There was no need to do that to him. Had that poor girl assaulted like that by all those guards. To what? To what end, Tywin? Terrorize Tyrion even more? Oh, mama. Oh, her baby. Oh my goodness, what acting. Oh. There's just something about Catelyn that always puts to the brink of tears. Oh, Jamie. This arduous adventure really begins for him.
You fight for the Starks, I fight for the Lannisters.
If we do it your way, Kingslayer, you'd win.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing it your way.
Yes. Oh.
Come on, pretty man.
It's funny that they mock Jamie for being pretty like Robb ain't pretty.
Did we rescue my sisters from the Queen? Did we free the North from those who want us on our knees? This war is far from over.
Mm. Oh, what a king, what a king, what a king, what a king. I know he's not king yet, but, you know. Oh, no. Baby. Oh, Arya, why do I want to cry? Oh, I hate Joffrey so much. This poor girl living in Flea Bottom, getting pigeons and just surviving. Oh my goodness. Dude, man, the first time I watched this, I did not see this coming at all. Not at all. It was so jarring because you get so accustomed to Ned, you root for him and you think something's gonna bail him out, something's gonna save him. Oh, and he's still limping from when that Lannister soldier lanced him. Oh, and he sees his baby up there. Oh my god. And you want me to feel sorry for these people when Dany fries them alive? I don't feel nothing.
Baylor!
Get his baby. Oh. You must be loving this, huh?
Hi, I'm Eddard Stark. I swore to protect and defend his children. But before his blood was cold, I plotted to murder his son and seize the throne for myself.
Oh my god. I will be cheering when I finally get to the episode she burns y'all alive.
Stripped of all titles and powers, he would serve the realm in permanent exile. And my lady Sansa has begged mercy for her father. But they've the soft hearts of women. Treason shall never go unpunished. Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
Oh my god! Oh, all those words. Oh, and she's just stuck up there, listening to this, powerless to stop it. But her and Sansa, jeez.
Don't look! Let me go! Let me go! Shut your mouth! Look at me! Look at me!
The last sight he saw. Oh, and he sees that she's gone. He probably hoped she wouldn't, so that Yoren got to her and didn't let her see this. Oh, oh god. Oh, that, that will never not be painful. In front of his daughters. Joffrey is one sick individual. Oh, next episode. Game of Thrones, episode 10, Fire and Blood. A harrowing beginning. Ugh. Oh. And the Hound just picking up his head. Oh,
Look
baby.
at me! Look at me! Do you remember me now, boy?
And she saw them just parading their head. Oh, his body, and then Sansa.
You see? He's not here.
Oh, God. Shaggy dog. Oh.
Shaggy dog. I came to see father. How many times have I told you he's in King's Landing? He was down here. I saw him. Saw him when? Last night.
Oh, the babies are dreaming of him.
Naturally should be in your thoughts and dreams. But that doesn't mean that...
Brian.
Oh, no. Oh, Mama. Mama Stark. Ah, the reverence they have for her. Oh, and she held it together for as long as she could. Oh. His family lost so much. Oh. You could feel that pain.
I'll kill them all. Every one of them.
Oh, no, you won't.
They have your sisters. We have to get the girls back, and then we will kill them all.
Oh, that's Lady Stoneheart right there coming for them.
No, please, no!
Oh, that is
This
sick.
one's your father.
So sick.
Look at him!
Oh! This is sick. Poor thing. Oh, Sansa.
After I raise my armies and kill your traitor brother, I'm going to give you his head.
Or maybe he'll give me yours.
Yes! Yes! Ugh. I can't wait till Arya gets her hands on you. This moment right here reminds me so much of Arya. They both have that fire in them.
Why should they rule over me and mine from some flowery seat in the south? It was the dragons we bowed to. And now the dragons are dead.
But are they? Are they dead?
Sits the only king I mean to bend my knee to.
Oh, God.
King of the North!
Yes! But I want to cry knowing what happens to him. Yes. Yes, Rob. Yes, rise. Rise into your power.
They can keep
Yes. No. Yes, Rob. Oh,
Am I your
Theon.
brother? Now and always.
Now and always.
Oh, at least he dies for this family. Theon does so much wrong, but
My last day.
he redeemed himself in the end. Yes, the King of the North. The Starks have the most heartbreaking soundtrack. There's just something so sorrowful to it. Oh, Mama. She must be proud but terrified for what this might mean for him.
Jaime captured, his armies scattered. It's a catastrophe. Perhaps we should sue for peace.
Yeah, sure.
There's your piece.
Mm-hmm.
Joffrey sorted that when he decided to remove Ned Stark's head.
First, we must return to
Ooh,
Casterly Rock
Tywin's
to raise
boiling,
My son!
and he boiled over.
You were right about Eddard Stark. If he were alive, we could have used him to broker a peace with Winterfell and River Run. But now, madness.
Madness and stupidity.
Bring that boy king to heel and his mother too, if needs be.
They try to murder him, so yeah.
From any of you're my son.
Manipulate him. He knows what Tyrion wants most. Tywin knows. He knows he just wants his approval.
You will not take that whore to court. Do you understand?
Should have left her. Oh, Tyrion, but that is his fatal flaw. So desperate to be loved, accepted, that he's able to take, or he's willing to take scraps. Just Tywin acknowledging him to be his son is enough.
What is there to tell?
How did my son die?
He was scaled like a lizard, blind, with leather wings.
Dragon baby.
For life. You paid for life.
This is not life. When will he be as he was?
When the sun rises in the west, sets in the east. When the seas go dry.
Yeah, Danny, you got played.
You knew what I was buying, and you knew the price. My child was innocent.
Innocent? He would have been the stallion who mounts the world. Now he will burn no cities. Now his Halasar will trample no nations into dust.
So, you murdered a child for over a prophecy that you didn't even know whether it was real or not?
Those riders had already raped me before you saved me, girl.
Like, I feel like she was okay.
It's house burn.
Go after Drogo, fine, but her child?
When the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, then you shall return to me, my sun and stars.
Ugh. Somehow I feel like taking a knife and putting it through his ear would have been a bit, I don't know. It would have been bloody, but like less, I don't know if I'd say less traumatized, but to feel him fighting. Ugh. Oh, Jaqen should be in there. Ooh.
Watch yourself, midget.
Let's have a look.
Oh, to think her father just died and now she's being thrown into this and being bullied. Ugh.
You better give me that sword!
You want it? I'll give it to you. I already killed
Yes,
one
Arya,
fat
defend
boy.
yourself.
I bet you never killed anyone. I like killing fat boys.
Ooh, Gendry.
Oh, you like picking on the little ones, do you? You know, I've been hammering an anvil these past 10 years. When I hit that steel, it sings. You gonna sing when I hit you?
I always wondered how Gendry ended up here, because I think it was someone in a hood, which, I mean, Varys is the only one who wears a hood that went and got Gendry.
I know what you intend. Do not.
I must.
Don't ask me to stand aside as you climb on that pyre.
I
won't watch you burn.
And I think she has to burn him on a pyre. Oh, losing Jorah was the beginning of the end.
I see the faces of slaves. Take off your collars. Go if you wish. No one will stop you. Sir Jorah, bind this woman to the pyre. You swore to obey me.
String her up.
I am Daenerys Stormborn of House
Targaryen.
Of the blood of old Valyria.
I am the dragon's daughter.
That those who would harm you will die screaming.
You will not hear me scream.
I will.
It was such a powerful scene. Oh. Baby dragons, baby dragons, baby dragons, baby dragons. Oh, little baby. Ah, Drogon! He's like, I have arrived. It is I. I am him. She is her. Drogon's like, yes! It's been centuries since... Wait. Centuries since this egg was birthed? Hear me roar! I'm alive! Drogon's like, I'm alive! Hear me! Oh, Drogon. Dude, what a hopeful ending. Oh, you started off this episode in tears. And then you end triumphantly. Little Drogon outstretching his wings like, I have arrived. It is I, the main character. Drogon has main character energy. His siblings are just like there, but it is me. I am him. That is Drogon. Anyways, that was the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, and oh, they are a doozy. You have Joffrey being, well, the Joffrey. Just, how can I put it? Sansa and Arya, everything they go through throughout the series, it's just... I don't want to say that one's path is more difficult than the other. I think George R. R. Martin wrote a path that fits both of them. Like the harsh realities of living outdoors. Like when we meet Arya, she's already like this little outdoorsy girl. Like Sansa wants, like for instance, when they're on the King's Road and they're going to King's Landing, Arya wants to ride on the horse. She doesn't want to ride in inside the carriage. Like, you can't see anything. Like, I want to be on the horseback. She wants to be able to see. She wants to be able to talk to people in the villages as they go by, while Sansa prefers to stay in the carriage. I think the journeys that they go on have been tailor-made to their personalities. It's not whether or not Sansa could survive everything Arya went through, or if Arya could survive everything Sansa went through. It's not about that, in my opinion. I think George R. R. Martin wrote stories that are, I mean, of course, everyone's story, everyone's plot lines is tailor-made for them. It's not interchangeable unless they're direct parallels, and even then I still believe their paths, or a character's path, is not meant to be interchangeable. But in this case, Sansa's storyline is specifically for her, and I really don't like to get into the comparisons of Sansa and Arya in the sense that one is better than the other. I don't really jive with that. That's why I think season 7 went down the wrong path of even having them kind of bicker in the first place. It just felt a bit forced in a way. It felt forced that the sisters went at each other, in my opinion. I don't think it needed to happen. I don't think it added anything to their bond per se. Now, Arya goes on this journey with Yoren, and I am still curious as to what Jaqen Hagar was doing in the black cells. I mean, he is a faceless man. If he wants to get out of a black cell, he'll get out of the black cell. So I guess the working theory would be that he wanted to be there. To what end? That's just a mystery. But he's there because he wants to be there. That much I do know. Or at least can figure, given everything we know about faceless men. Now, we have Dany, Miri, and Drogo. Here's the thing about, I think this also highlights the dangers of prophecies. I feel like Melisandre and Stannis, they're also another like flagship of prophecies going wrong. Like if you were to look at the personification of why you shouldn't take prophecies literally, that would be one. Now, this is also another, in my opinion. I fully believe that Miri, if you live in a world where you believe in an eye for an eye or retribution, if you are someone who believes in that in terms of like, okay, here's the thing. I feel like there's a big difference between advocating for revenge in nonfiction versus, and when I say nonfiction, I mean real life versus fictional works. I am fine with exacting revenge in fictional work. Nonfiction, real life, not so much. But in fiction, that's one of the beauties of it. You can get to kind of live out those darker desires or urges or impulses. Miri had all rights to F with Khal Drogo. Screw him. He destroyed her home. She was assaulted by his men. She was treated like absolute garbage. And I do think she was justified in telling Daenerys, listen, you did not save me. You did not. You did not save me from anything. You stopped them from going any further, but you did not save me. So let's just slow your rolls there. Now, if she had started and ended with the life of Khal Drogo, fine. But she then took it upon herself. She made a choice to then go after a pregnant woman, to target the child inside of her because of a prophecy she heard. Now that to me is a step too far. She spoke in such an exact manner that this is what this child is going to grow up to be. No. Because we have seen so many times where prophecies end up wrong. They end up being forced onto someone and it's not them. It's a complete misunderstanding. And I do believe that the stallion that mounts the world in a way is Drogon. It's like a combination of Drogon and Daenerys, but more so Drogon. And so in a way, Miri, in an attempt to stop this prophecy, she fueled it. She targeted Daenerys' son Rhaego, and he ends up being part of the sacrifices, the blood magic that brings forth the real stallion who will mount the world, Drogon. So in a way, it's like, once again, you took it upon yourself to thwart a prophecy from happening, and in the process, you may or may have not aided in it in coming true. So that's where I am with Miri and the entire situation. And as for Dany burning her, I got no qualms with that, because the second you target that child, you're now turning it in it's like, okay, if Dany had targeted Miri for just Drogo, then that's a little but really no, Dany, she definitely had her say in it in terms of, she could be mad at her, but I think if punishing her by taking her life for killing Joe, well, maybe not, because that is her husband and the father of her child, and it's a tricky subject. But I do think Dany would have definitely been in the wrong if she had done anything to Miri for taking her vengeance against this man, as well as preventing more of this from happening. And I don't think Dany has any right to say anything in regards to that, given the fact that Daenerys herself did not agree with what Drogo and the Dothraki were doing. And she could say, oh, well, I was encouraging him to change, but that's not Miri's problem. Too little, too late. She got him to change earlier. But the child, the baby, Rhaego, that is where Danny has full clearance to go after Miri. I got no qualms with that. The second you touch the unborn child because you believe that this is what this child is going to be before it's even born, that's sick. There's something sick to that. That baby has not even been born yet, and you're putting a prophecy onto it that may or may not be wrong or right. And in the process, chances are killing the child is what brought the prophecy to life. So it's like, yeah, you shot yourself in the foot, Miri. Now, John, Rob, Catelyn, all of that. Actually, no, I'm going to leave John to the side and just talk about Catelyn and Rob and Walder Frey and all of that. I still think Walder Frey got too much. Like, Walder, I would have told Lord Walder, listen here. Yes, Tywin is on his way here, and you got forces and we got forces, but here's the thing. It's either Walder Frey's head or you'll take the marriage with Arya, because no one has ever offered a marriage proposal because you're a Frey. You're a vassal house. You're not getting one of the great houses in a marriage pact. That's just not really common. Unless it's like a second child or a second son or a second daughter or whatever it is. But Arya is the second daughter of a great lord. That is more than enough. And I do think Catelyn probably felt... That's the thing about when you go into negotiation desperate and the other person knows you're desperate. That in and of itself is leverage. And I feel like Catelyn should have done what she could to stronghold that leverage back. And I do, but I guess Tywin marching that way is what kind of took that away. But either way, if you kind of have to play Walder Frey's bluff in that sense. Like, I'm not giving all of this to you. Either you, but I also guess they didn't want to delay. Ultimately, I understand why she did it, but I still think it was too much. But for Walder Frey, House Frey, that was a High Lord's daughter and his firstborn son, his first trueborn son. That's too much. But given the circumstances, Walder Frey definitely exploited the fact that they were desperate and Tywin was up marching their way. Now, Catelyn losing Ned in that moment where she's walking through the camp and all of the soldiers bow to her. Just that respect and reverence is just, it's heartbreaking and it's beautiful in how she held together. The acting by Michelle Fairley, like that moment where she sees Rob coming up, like she sees them coming through the forest, the tree line, but until she sees Rob's face and he's in one piece and you can see the break in her face, like she breaks and you can see the tears and the joy. Oh my goodness, she was by far one of my favorite. I think she's an unsung actress for Game of Thrones. I feel like she doesn't get as much praise as she does, probably because her character didn't last as long as some of the others that get a lot of praise. I'm just gonna say, I think Peter Dinklage is one of them. Like, I feel like just because he lasted so long, he got so many Emmys, but my God, this show is littered with very great, like just great actors who brought such heart to these characters and nuance to every moment every breath. Michelle Fairley, in my opinion, is just such an unsung presence. But I guess because of her role in the Red Wedding, I think maybe she gets her flowers there. So maybe she does get her props for the Red Wedding. But in general, there are just so many little scenes where she just every time she's on my screen, I want to cry. It's not just the story that George R. R. Martin has carved out for Catelyn Stark, but it's the acting behind it. I truly can enter into a love fest for Michelle Fairley. I really can. She is my favorite actor on this show. She really is. No one had the capacity to move me to tears as quickly as Catelyn Stark. Michelle Fairley's portrayal as Catelyn Stark. No one throughout this show can make me cry like that. like she did. There's just something regal. There's a regalness. She's older, and there's this regal beauty, like she ages gracefully. There's a heart, there's a strength and a vulnerability. There's a warmth of a mother and the sternness. I can go on about the casting directors. Truly did such a great job to Michelle. And I really feel like Game of Thrones became what it became, not necessarily because of what it did in scale in its later seasons. I feel like it, how can I put it? You need foundation before you can get to those, like, in order to gain the money to really scale Game of Thrones into what it became, the money, it had to start with good storytelling and even better acting. I feel like these moments here, these first few seasons, is what really set the foundation for how they were able to get the budget later on. Just, a phenomenal show. I'm pretty sure I can say more, but I'm not going to. Like, Drogon's here. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. But Michelle Fairley, I'm telling you this now. My post episodes, like when I'm talking my recaps, it's just gonna be Michelle Fairley love fest. I'm a Catelyn. She's such a frustrating character because of the things she does. It kind of digs him in a hole sometimes. But my goodness, she is a character that you can't ignore, you can't turn away from. And the actress does just justice to that storyline, which is why I always will forever lament the lack of Lady Stoneheart going forward. Because to see, if Michelle Fairley was given the opportunity to bring Lady Stoneheart to life, oh my goodness. She is someone who does not need a word to come out her mouth to portray everything she needs to. She's such a presence that I know she would have bodied Lady Stoneheart. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you all enjoy the reaction. If you like, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and tell me what you thought of these last 2 episodes down below. And subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everyone.